Welcome in. You Got Served podcast. It's been a minute. Hope everybody can hear me. All technical difficulties. A lot has happened. Season 6, episode 6. In 24 days, a lot has happened. February, by the way, was January not the longest month ever? It was no doubt the longest month ever. That month was 3 years long for some reason. No idea why. February is creeping along. 1 minute it's 76 degrees outside, the next minute it's -6. We had a snow. We had a mob coming after one of our own. We had Kanye going off the rails in a Jew-laced tirade. I got my account suspended. We had a huge trade in the NBA, one of the worst trades of all time. We've had some good shows out. I've been binge watching. Tennessee baseball season started. The basketball team doing well. Boring, but they are doing well. Got to give them credit. So, February 1st, I'll roll over, half asleep, about 1 o'clock in the morning. Luka Doncic's been traded to the LA Lakers. I couldn't believe it. Dumbest trade in history. I mean, I'm not an NBA fan whatsoever. I don't like the NBA, but you know, if I had to pick a team, gun to my head, it'd be the Mavericks. I like Dallas, Cowboys. I listen to the guys down there on their flagship. I like those guys down there that do their radio. What a terrible trade. A guy in his prime at 25, and you're not going to shop him or take away the fact that you traded him. What you got back in return. And I mean, Anthony Davis is called street clothes for a reason. And every single move the Mavericks have made since has been a complete clusterfuck. Everything. PR nightmare. The other day, they posted a highlight video, and, you know, a guy's rapping or whatever, and they show highlights of the Mavericks, and they have the logo of the Mavericks go from one side of the screen to the other over a black silhouette. Who was the black silhouette? Luka. I mean, from banning signs and shirts and not letting their fans, kicking their fans out for booing that dumbass GM. I don't even care. I mean, it's just so stupid. I don't even want to talk about the NBA. It's just so stupid. So later that night, or later the next morning, I wake up, check my phone. My account's been suspended. My Twitter account. One of those frustrating, just annoying things. Like, everybody blows me up. What did you say this time? What did you know? So let me back it up a little bit. So when you pay for Twitter Premium, you are eligible. You have to meet a certain criteria, but you're eligible to get paid through Twitter. So I was getting paid through Twitter based off interactions and stuff. Thought that was pretty cool. Not much, but it paid for my subscription. It was like 2 payments, and then I got an email saying that I was disqualified from getting paid through Twitter. I tried to go find out why. Really wasn't getting the answer. By the way, Twitter needs I refuse to call it X, by the way. Twitter needs some kind of customer service. I've seen a lot of people get Jane Slater, the NFL network reporter. Her account got suspended. Our Vol Twitter, Mark Nagy, his account got suspended. We need a customer service representative who I can call through Twitter. Elon, this email shit is garbage. Emailing Twitter to try to get your account back. So I got suspended for the money thing, right? Getting paid. And I never really got an answer for that. It said something about spam account manipulation. Well, that was the reason why I got suspended. Totally. So, come to find out, now I don't know if this is 100% accurate or this is what happened. I really don't want to give these fuckers credit. But I saw people bragging how they would spam my account and report my account for spam. And, you know, I just couldn't imagine the low life that goes to somebody's account and reports them every single day. And then on the flip side of that, I'm mad at Twitter because you let it happen. And if you want to say, well, Leland, you say things, dude, go to my For You page. Go to my For You page on Twitter, and some of the jokes on there would make my jokes blush. It's ridiculous. I mean, I couldn't imagine spending the time to try and delete somebody's account. Free speech. I'm all about it. I would never in a million years go to somebody's account, no matter how bad I hated them. I don't want to give them credit because I don't know if that was totally why my account was suspended. And I don't care about followers. Like, I had 5,000 followers. I did build it up. I don't care about that. It's just the fact that I had everything organized. I had bookmarks. I had my favorite tweets in place. I had this connected to it, this podcast. I had my followers, the people I like to follow. I'm talking about, when I say followers, I don't mean the number of followers. I mean people who are still trying to find me on there. I did a good job of, I have an app actually that was connected. I didn't update it, but it was connected to that account, and I went through and followed everybody back. I found most everybody, but it's just a hassle, and it's just so annoying that there's porn, there's an account that posts like deadly, it's like deadly something, and all it posts is like weird stuff that how people die. Like, this guy like took an axe and split this guy's head open, or somebody falls in front of a subway train and gets mangled. Like, shit like that is on Twitter. But the owner of Twitter, and listen to me when I say this, I'm pro word retard. But the owner of Twitter is making jokes about the word retard, which is fine, but you don't get to choose what you get to bitch about and moan about. It's all in one pot, you know? Zach, you're right, but we can't offend anyone just being hilarious. I mean, if I see, and we're going to get to talking about Sean's situation here, and this all correlates, and everybody knows I'm big on free speech. I'm anti cancel culture, and it's something that I harp on, and some people will probably get tired of me saying it, but I think it's so important, and I think it's so important that we turn the tide as a country. In other news, I noticed there was some big news. Before I logged on, Sydney Sweeney, the love of my life and future mother of my children, she's pushing back her wedding. That gives hope for the rest of us regular dudes. Let's cherish this moment. Sydney Sweeney is still single. How about that? Let's move it along a bit. So let's talk about this Sean thing. So our buddy Sean, if you don't know Sean, he comes to our tailgates in G10. The single nicest guy that you'll ever meet. Brings food to the tailgate, doesn't ask for any money in return. Biggest Tennessee Vol fan that you'll ever meet. A little goofy. Let's admit it. Let's call it what it is. Sean's a little goofy. Love him to death. Served our country in the military. Called Rob a thumb. I got to put that comment up there. That's funny. Called Rob a thumb. Love Sean. So, Sean has never said anything controversial. He gets on Twitter. He raises money for kids. He is it for kids that he raises? He raises money for something. I don't really know. Him and Bo are kind of in that whole thing. They raise money for people in need, basically. Great guy. Sean's never posted anything controversial like me. No 9/11 jokes. No Hitler jokes. Just good old Sean. Good old Vols. Right? So, the other day, and I can't remember what day this was. Oh, yeah. Rob, good point. Sean helped a bunch of folks through the Gatlinburg fires in, was it 2000? I think it was 2016 because I remember that was Dobbs last year. I kind of correlate that. Raised tremendous amounts, and I'm pretty sure did Sean's house burn down in those fires too? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think or something. Sean had some issues with the fire himself. I think he lived right in the middle of it. I don't know really the ins and outs, but I know he helped a bunch of folks. Yes, okay, so he did. He did have some issues with his house in the Gatlinburg fires, and then he turns around and helps people with the fires. So I can't remember what day this was, but he posted a tweet. He posted a picture of a woman on the flight. He was going from, where was he going from? So he was going from Knoxville to Houston. And he posted a picture of a woman that sat next to him. Okay, he lost everything. Thank you, Rob. He lost everything. Yeah, he lost everything in the fire. Well, he was coming back, or he was going from Knoxville to Houston, and then on to Cleveland, he says. He's in the seat, posts a picture. Young lady sits next to him. She takes up half the seat. He posted a picture of it with the caption, "My flight from Knoxville to Houston was amazing. Now on to Cleveland." He said, "I was smashed against the window. I'm 6'1", around 200 pounds. This lady took up 1/3 of my seat, and she even lifted the armrest." When he posted the picture, it's of a lady that's quite unattractive, wearing a tank top, and she leans forward, and there's actually two pictures. She leans forward, and she's holding her head on leaning up against the chair in front of her, and she has, how would I describe this? It looks like she's smuggling Chewbacca under her armpits. Pretty disgusting, right? Heavy-set woman. I'm sure she smelled like mayonnaise and toenails. And Sean blocked her eyes, blocked her face, and posted her online. Whatever. Nothing major. Well, I saw the initial tweet and I didn't think nothing of it. Nothing offends me. Nothing gets my panties in a wad. It is what it is. So, Sean, the next day or two, I noticed that his tweet was blowing up. And people on my timeline was quote tweeting some of his responses, and he was getting absolutely obliterated. There was actually one tweet that was a quote tweet. And of course, it's always the same people, right? It's always the people who have some anime um saying slurs offends you at tailgates. No, it don't. Um I went train of thought, Rob. Um so okay, so most of these people who get mad, first off, they always hide their face, right? I'm never gonna hide my face. I'm gonna stand behind the words that I say, no matter what I say. I'm gonna stand behind them. The people that report my account and get me suspended and come after me always have their face. And I guarantee they're always pushing 300 pounds. Never fails. It's always the same type people. Sean got a quote tweet from a person who had an anime, some kind of anime character, AVI. Of course, didn't show their face. That tweet got 2,000 retweets on itself. Now, last time I checked, Sean's tweet got 30 million views. People were going after him, the mob. But let's ask ourselves this. Why? Why did people get mad at this? Well, you could say he posted somebody without their permission. You could say that he was making fun of them. He didn't. Let me make that be clear. He didn't say anything. I would have. I would have made fun of her because she's disgusting. But I got his back, and and he didn't. And I'm gonna read you this article. He actually made it to the news, the Daily Mail, and I'm gonna go over it. But why did this tweet get people mad? Because it was a straight white male in a situation where he was uncomfortable, and nobody likes that, right? So why? And I'm on the internet every single day, and I see people's picture being taken in public, video recorded without their permission, uh, and no one bats an eye, right? You go to a hockey game, and during a timeout, they have the look-alike. They'll take like, you know, Buddy the Elf, and they'll point to somebody in the crowd, and they'll compare him to Buddy the Elf. They'll take um, the monster from the Goonies. They'll compare that with an opposing fan, and everybody laughs. So why is it that everybody gets mad at Sean for posting somebody without their permission when we do it every single day? We go to Walmart, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I don't give a shit. But why do we allow the mob like this to dictate how we feel and how we act? And when social media, everybody has a cell phone, everybody has a camera in their pocket, and everybody does the same thing as Sean did. You know, they used to have a website called People of Walmart. And you go to this People of Walmart, and it was people that was shopping in Walmart that was doing weird stuff, dressed a certain way, a dude in a thong, a woman in just her bra, some fat lady in a motorized scooter leaning over, and she tipped the scooter over. But no one gets mad at that. No one gets mad at people of Walmart. But people got mad at Sean. 30 million views. So now I don't know if this is 100% true. So if anybody in the comments can correct me on this, but didn't they come after his job and family? Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I didn't hear it on the timeline. I just heard it through a couple things here and there that I gathered. I didn't have confirmation of that. But if you came after somebody's job, period, no matter what, you are an absolute loser. You are a pathetic human being if you try to get somebody fired from their job. You are a garbage. You are worse than what the person could do the worst, could say the worst possible thing. Okay, Rob, 100% they did. They threatened his wife's life and called his CO. Absolute garbage. So he didn't even say anything offensive, quote, offensive. And I get it from his standpoint. You know, he deleted his account. I really wished I told him twice, mute the tweet and go about your day. I told him that. And I really wish he would have, but he probably got advice from his job, and that's fine. Do what you want. I really wish he would have stayed pat because it's bullshit. So I was scrolling through Twitter a few days after this happened, and somebody posted a news link through the Daily Mail. I guess it's a UK thing. So let's go over this. The author of this, if you want to go after her or something, Emily Lefroy, she says she goes over some of the stuff that we talked about with the tweet. She said, now that this is the article. In the thread, the male passenger claimed that the woman took over his seat, leaving him with little room. He did not specify what exactly his other problems were with his fellow traveler, but went on to ridicule her looks. Well, that's a flat out lie. Sean didn't say anything about her looks. As a matter of fact, in this article, she writes out the tweet. He said, I'm 6'1", around 200 pounds. He mentioned himself. And she commandeered 1/3 of my seat. She had lifted the armrest. So that's a flat out lie. The writer said, but went on to ridicule her looks. That's a flat out lie. That's bullshit. He didn't do that. In the tweet, he went on to say, and this is an article, when she leaned forward, I almost lost it. It was a completely full flight. I couldn't move. Again, that has nothing to do with her looks. Okay? These damn UK ads got so many, or articles got so many ads and shit. So, Sean said in a response, I guess, she even took her shoes off and was snoring. The writer of the article said Sean's post proved to be incredibly divisive, with dozens of rushing to share their thoughts. Some users agreed with Sean, others expressing their sympathy. So let's go over some of these comments that we got. Imagine the male equivalent, and that is what I get stuck sitting beside almost every flight. I'm so sorry, one user wrote. Okay, that's a good comment. So why didn't you put it back down and put your arm over the rest? Protect your seat, Sean. It's kind of like one of those things when you go to the movies, right? Like, what's the protocol here? What's the social... when you go to the movies, if I get there before you and my arm's on the armrest, by the way, why don't you just put 2 armrests in movie theaters, right? I would expect you not to fight with me for it, right? Just let me have it, and vice versa. If you get there before me and your arm's on it, I'm not gonna, it's yours. Okay, so why does she get to choose to put the armrest up? Because she was fat? Did she put, well, then that's inconvenience a passenger. If you're fat, figure out a way to get to your destination or lose weight. Okay. Um, Somebody commented and said, flying made me realize that hygiene is optional for too many. I'm sorry. You're going to take your. You're going to take your. James, we're talking about Sean's tweet and him getting canceled. So she took her shoes off, hairy armpits, tank top, right? I don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to know that she stunk. But people want to cancel Sean because why? Because she's a female, she's overweight. You know, people come after the straight white male, right? Okay. So the fact that you see nothing wrong with posting pictures of strangers on the internet is something one person hit back. That was a comment. I just went over that. We do it every day. We do it in public every single day. Why is this any different? Someone responded, you know what's gross about this? That you felt the need to take pictures of this woman and post them for entertainment. I don't think Sean was posting them for entertainment. I would have and 100% would have. I think Sean is just, I think it was just a funny situation. He posted her. You're putting words into his tweet that's not true. Okay. He goes on, it shows the screenshot of the pictures. Somebody said, what's exactly possessed you to take unsolicited pictures of someone whose greatest crime was minding her own business? She wasn't minding her own business. Because if she was minding her own business, she would have been more cordial with other people's surroundings in the plane. The armrests, the shoes off, probably the stinking, the tank top, et cetera, right? So she wasn't minding her own business. So that's wrong. Somebody said, would rather sit next to her than you, a garbage person that literally went out of her way to shame her on social media with pictures. Well, you can sit beside her, and I guarantee you're going to be asking the stewardess in 10 minutes, something's up. Bring me some air freshener. So that's a lie. That's basically all it says. It's not like he popped off the N-word. You know, okay, so she also said that she was snoring, okay, when she was sleeping. So that's annoying. So she definitely wasn't minding her own business if she was snoring, right? She's bothering other people. So that's a lie. So we're up to what? 5-10 lies in one article? I just think in a setting like an airplane, and I have like social rules that I go over, you know, standing in line, the movie theater, flying, a football game. You have unwritten rules that I think us as a society should implement and shame. This woman should be shamed on internet because it's ridiculous. Yes. So I just got a comment. He showed everyone what he was dealing with, and of course, people freaked. But isn't that funny though? Like just weird things go viral like that. Like Sean just probably posted it and was going to get a little bit of interaction through Vol Twitter. Nothing major. And I've had tweets like that. I've had tweets like, you know, I've just posted whatever, something during a football game, and it's not even like not even none of my normal controversial stuff, and I'll get 500 likes on it or something. You know, it's just funny how the algorithm catches something and rolls with it. It's like TikTok does that. Like I've seen TikTok videos of things, or I've posted something I thought was pretty funny and it not catch any traction. Or I post like some of my Tennessee related stuff, and I don't know if it's like it knows that, you know, Tennessee is in my interest or in my area, and it kind of catches on. But Rob, or not Rob, but Sean, he probably just didn't think anything of it. It's just ridiculous that something like that. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I actually tried to get him on tonight, but he wants everything to die off. I asked a friend through a friend that knows him personally, really personally. If he, I wish to God he would come on. That would have been great. Uh, I wish he did come on. Okay, let's talk about the next thing. So I wanted to talk about this little hobby that I've picked up on the side, and it's called arbitrage betting. I was randomly scrolling through TikTok one day, and I saw this guy talk about um, this betting method, and I started doing some research on it. Well, I'm a week into it, and I'll kind of describe what it's about. So basically, so of course, when you scroll through a TikTok and they're like, "Never lose a bet again," win, make $4,000 in a month, all this, right? So I started looking into this, and basically what it is you take one bet and you bet both sides of it based off two sports books odds, and you win a profit no matter what. So let's say, for instance, LeBron James, uh, you know, 6.5 rebounds, over or under. Well, DraftKings might have the over at minus 145. Might have the under at plus 175. So you place a bet cordial to that based off a calculation where you got to post enough money, or you got to play enough money on the minus side to make up for what you lost if the plus side lost. Does that make sense? And you come out a winner. So there's a software that does this. It's called Odds Jam. And you can do a free trial to try it out. Now, it's a lot of work because there's a lot of restrictions with these sports books as far as moving the money around, logging into these sports books from your phone. A lot of them have like a two authentication mode where you have to send them a text or whatever. I can't speak tonight. And it's a pain in the ass, but if you start getting to a little bit, you can make some money off this. Now, a little backstory. So, a couple weeks ago, I saw this car that I wanted to buy on Facebook. And this lady was going through like a family member's house. Maybe they had some health issues, and they were selling a bunch of stuff. And they were selling, backhoes, four-wheelers, PS5s, Ford truck. I think there was a 4Runner on there, a pontoon, whatever this. And I was friends with this girl, so I thought everything was legit. So I saw this little Honda Accord on there, and I told her I was interested in it, and the whole thing seemed flaky. Long story short, I ended up getting a loan for this car, and it was like $4,500, right? And I was going to either resell it or keep it for myself. It had low miles on it, was fully loaded. But of course, it ended up being too good to be true, and I had a loan that I technically didn't need, but I could use. Like I could pay off some stuff with it, consolidate some of my debt. So around this time, I started hearing about this betting strategy. So what I did is I took about, let's see, I took ESPN, Fanatic, Hard Rocks, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, and Bally. And I took that $4,500 and I put $500 in each of those sports books. So when you log on to Odds Jam, and by the way, you do have to pay for it. It's like $200 a month. That's outrageous. You do have a 7-day free trial if you want to try it, but the idea is to make enough to where you get your money back, or you pay for your subscription. So I started messing with this, and every day I would take these. I would do about $100 bets, and you're making nothing more than $5 or $10. Well, if you do that 4 times a day, that's $40, right? So 40, my pal Edumacation, 40 times 30 is $1,200. So if you could somehow come up with $1,200 a month, that is massive. That's your mortgage. That's 2 car payments. So I started doing this. And so I have it's called Pickit, Pikkit. Great app that gives you all kinds of stats about your betting. From the very beginning. I mean, it'll tell you what you did this week. It'll tell you what you did overall. It'll tell you what you did per sports book. It'll tell you everything. And there's a free version. Don't pay for it. So if you look at my my stats here, so my first day of doing this was the 19th, right? I was in the plus money. Yes, Toby, arbitrage. So I was in the plus money, $41 on the 19th. Solid first day, like whatever, $40, whatever. Second day, 38. Third day, 66. Saturday, I netted a $300 profit. So yesterday, I netted 198. And today, I'm already doing well at 50. And I got a bunch of bets coming up. So in 1, 2, 3, 4, in 5 days, I'm plus 600 on the plus side of profit, right? Now again, here's a little thing that you have to go through with, and I got to explain. So when you have your arbitrage bets up, odds jam, you can link your sports books to the odds jam, and you can do a one-click play on certain sports book. That is easy to a certain extent, but then you have to go to it'll pop up a window and you have to log in. While you're doing this, odds can change at any given moment, okay? So if you go place a bet and the odds changed, it screwed up your whole thing, because you have to go to 2 sportsbook and hope that the odds don't change before you place those 2 bets. It's very tough. I do it, and there's times when the odds change. Like today, I had an odds change on a very nice bet. It was like I was going to get a 4% profit, which is really high. I've been doing anywhere from 1.5% profit to 2 is where you normally do. Sometimes you'll catch a 4, which is really rare. So I had this nice 4% profit, and I go to place my bets. Well, the odds changed, and I already placed my bet, right? So I had to cash out. Now, some sports books will allow you to cash out without a loss, and some you try to cash out and they took $9 or $10 out, depending on how much the bet was. So you have to run and do this. Now, what I do is I keep the odds jam on my computer, and then I do the odds jam on my phone, and I have to know ahead of time how much I'm going to bet. So you have to write down. What I do is I write down each sports book and how much money currently is in that account. Okay. Then you go to the computer, you see the odds jam, it calculates. So if I put $100 in DraftKings over an account and the other sports book is Fanatics, and you put $100, it will automatically calculate based off the odds, the 1.5% profit or whatever it is, to what you need to put in for Fanatics, right? So then I'll go to my phone and I'll run to those sports books and I'll place the bet. But now you have to watch. You have to watch and see if it changes. Now, I like it. Like I like crunching numbers. I hated math, but I like crunching numbers and doing things with numbers and math and and um and of course winning money. But basically, if you look at it like this, if you can make $40 profit and do it for 30 days, you make $1,200 minus 200 for your subscription. That's $1,000 profit. That's not bad at all. Now, here's another side of this whole thing. Sports books are very smart, and they, as much as they love taking your money, they can't stand when you win. So, you have to worry about red flags. Some of the red flags are don't bet decimal points. Always make it a round number, tens and fives. Okay, don't do 101.75 for your bet because that's a red flag. No one bets like that. Another red flag is, Korean table tennis at 3:00 in the morning, which I don't get that. I don't get that on the odds jam. So it's usually NBA right now. A little bit of soccer, mostly the NBA. So a little thing that I've ran into is, for instance, the Hard Rock sports sports book is they've started limiting what I can bet because it's mostly player props. Now, player props, it's not a huge market. What's your most popular bets? It's always money lines and over-unders, right? Spreads, basically. So rarely anybody bets on player props. So if I'm going through there and I'm betting on all these player props, I alerted Hard Rock and they limited to my account. Now, if I have $500, when I say limited, if I have $500 in my account, I can go to a bet and I'll type in $500 to make a bet for my arbitrage, and it'll say 230. Well, then I have to go back to OddsJam and calculate what would a 230 side for this side of the bet and what would come up on the other side, and then I have to go back to the other sports book and put the equivalent of, you know what I'm saying? Like the equivalent of the other bet. It's really pain in my ass. So you have to kind of figure out a way to be strategic with it. I think my mistake was doing huge bets instead of just sticking to $100 bets and just doing 20 $100 bets. I made the mistake, and then Bally also restricted me. I heard some strategies to get unrestricted, basically lose some bets. So what I did is I went to Bally and I placed like 10 cent bets on the NBA tonight. And I tested my my limitation out, and I went and made a huge bet, and it let me do it. Like, it actually didn't limit me. So I don't know if that actually worked or it was just luck of the draw that they allowed me. So that's basically arbitrage. Like I said, I'm plus 600. It's really fun to do. If you have some extra time lying around the day, you got a cell phone, you got a Wi-Fi, sit around, make some bets, make some money, right? So switching gears towards the end here, I wanted to talk about some shows. I think I'm going to do some. I'm going to be more with the shows. I'm going to start reviewing some shows. I might do some old stuff. I miss 90s or early 2000s and 90s comedies. I might do some of that, some old movies. Anybody that ever wants to come on and review movies and shows with me, come on. So there's a couple movies or shows that I've been watching that's really taken storm in the social media world, and that would be, for one, Landman. Um, if you don't have Paramount Plus, DM me on Twitter. I'll hook you up with a really cheap TV service. It's really well worth it. It's not shitty, or I mean it's janky, but it's well worth the price. It's like $90 a year, and you get to watch anything you want. I don't get paid for them. I just don't want people to have to pay for TV service. That's my service. That's what I do. I want to help people watch shit for free. Because it drives me up the wall that these people, have taken over the cable companies, and everything has turned to streaming, and YouTube TV raised their price. Netflix about to raise their price. And I just want people to watch. I haven't paid for legit cable in over a decade. And I basically watch, I'm trying to think if anything I'm restricted. I basically watch anything I could possibly think of for $97 a year, or $7 a month for Netflix. I do pay for Netflix. So just hit me up if you ever want to know. If you don't have Paramount Plus or any other streaming, hit me up. I'll hook you up with something. Now, as far as Landman goes, this is it kind of reminds me of a I know Friday Night Lights was all about football, and it was more sports related, but it kind of reminds me, because it's set in Texas. It kind of reminds me of that vibe. Um, Billy Bob Thornton plays a guy that's in the oil industry, plays a real badass. By the way, does he not play the same character in every movie? I mean, I watched Bad Santa in December, and the guy Billy Bob's character in Landman is Bad Santa. Almost to a T, not quite, but so there's drama, and there's things that happen within the show, cliffhangers. I don't want to give no spoilers away, but it's an absolute. I finished the show in probably about 5 or 6 days. I want to go back and watch it again. The daughter on there, oh my god, the daughter is an absolute. She's gorgeous. You're right, Toby. Besides Sling Blade, uh, so, um, yeah, Rob, we said it. We said it already. Sling Blade, we get it. Um, but Landman is good. Check it out. It's a lot of cussing, a lot of f words, a lot of stuff, a lot of drama. There's several characters. They have their own little world. They have their own little story. You have Billy Bob's son. You got John Hamm, who's playing the boss. You got his story. You got the mom, the wife. She used to play. If you saw her, if you're a millennial, you would know her from some of those. Maybe she played in a horror film. I know she played in Final Destination. But go back and look her up. She played in some big time movies back in the day. But each character has their own little problem, their own dealing with a lot of drama in the oil industry. You got accidents, Varsity Blues. It gives me a Varsity Blues vibe. Really good. The other show that I like is, so I'm a huge Dexter fan. This prequel has actually gotten me to watch the original again. Love the Dexter series. So they've come out with this prequel called Dexter Original Sin, where basically he is starting out at the Miami Metro Police Department, and his Harry, his adoptive foster dad, is running the show there, and it has people starting out like Angel and LaGuardia. Deb is in high school. Deb wants to figure out what she wants to be as an adult. What's the pervert's name? The Asian guy. He's in it. He has a full head of hair. He has this little funky, perverted laugh. I thought this was going to be a shit show. I thought this was going to be cheesy. I thought that, most of the time you see these remakes and reboots, they don't turn out well. The writing's horrible. Maybe they implemented some little bit of woke This I just finished the last episode before I got on here. Absolutely blew it out the park. I mean, this guy's mannerisms, and everybody's gonna be like, "Well, nobody can Masuka. Nobody can replicate Dexter like Michael C. Hall." But I tell you what, this guy is he has it down packed. The way the little eyebrow, the look into the camera, the little, the walk, he has this down to a he has Dexter down. And I'm blown away how great it was. Um, Deb probably could have been casted better. She's okay. Leland's son. um, Angel is a spitting image. Looks great casting. LaGuardia probably could have been better. Christian Slater as Harry. I don't know. He doesn't look like Harry. He's okay. He's a little cheesy in the show, I thought. A little bad acting from you'd think Christian Slater would be a great actor, but it was okay. But the overall series was fine. They haven't announced the season 2 yet. The way it ended, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the way it ended, I could see two ways. I could see them leaving it as it is, and it runs into the original series and it connects like that. Or I could see them coming up with a season 2 of Original Sin and really hammering some of the characters and how they develop. And, Harry had health issues eventually. We all knew that. Deb eventually gets on at the Miami Metro. What happens to some of the characters in Original Sin? That's not in the original. All around good show. So give that a try. I'm trying to think of what else I've watched. Let me look at my little list here. So did everybody see Kanye go berserk? That was pretty hilarious. Kanye went. Do you have to watch the first series to understand the reboot? That's a good question. That's tough. It wouldn't help. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to start from the original or start from the reboot. I would suggest start with the original. Of course, the original was shitty. It was awful. I watched Tell Me Lies, which is about a college drama on Hulu. It's a bunch of honestly shitty friends in college. And if you like sex and backstabbing and good-looking women in college, young chicks in college, full on just constant on the edge of your seat drama. Tell Me Lies. Basically a group of friends, they're dating each other, one dates another one, they all have their little clique. A lot of backstabbing in the show. This guy cheated on this girl. There's some really dark moments. A couple, there's like a death involved, a car wreck. Not giving any spoilers away. Go watch Tell Me Lies. I think it's 2 seasons. It's 2 seasons. They're gonna start filming the 3rd season soon. The second season ended on a cliffhanger. That was a good show. Watch Tell Me Lies on Hulu. I watched the Girl from Plainville, which is basically kind of like one of those. It's a series, but it's kind of like I call them like a docu-series. Like it's like it's acting and it's not like a documentary, but it does tell about a true story. Basically, a girl she's very odd, she's kind of a psycho. She's she's just weird. And she was dating this guy and he ended up killing himself and she had a hand in it. And she had a hand in basically texting him to kill herself. Very dark. She ends up going to jail. A lot of flashback scenes from when they're alive and from after he died. It's hard to keep up with a little bit. Great. I thought it was pretty good. If you want to look up the true story, you can. Did D Hard Tater. Um, Trying to think of some other stuff I've watched recently. Let's see here. So I watched that Anna Kendrick. This was a while back ago. I think this was back in maybe December. Um, Woman of the Hour. It's based off a true story. And Anna Kendrick. This is set back in the TV show. And basically, Anna Kendrick's character goes on The Bachelor and meets a guy. Remember that show, The Bachelor? They had the wall and you couldn't see what they look like. It was a game show. You picked your date based off the answers at the end. Well, the guy that she ended up picking ended up being a creep. Ends up kind of stalking her a little bit. I think he tried to maybe rape her, get her, kidnap her a little bit. It follows that, and that's based off a tree. That's really good. It actually got a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's on Netflix. I thought that was great. Did anybody see that stupid? It was the Megan Fox robot. She plays a robot. By the way, if you're some freaky horn dog that likes robot sex, there's a little sex scene. It doesn't show anything. Of course, Megan Fox isn't going to show anything, but she plays the nanny and she's a robot. And there was a dad and a young girl. They go and pick out this robot at this convention, and the robot ends up being her nanny. And he ends up having an affair with the robot. Pretty wild if you got an hour and a half. If I wouldn't, of course, Fall Rob, I wouldn't wait. If you're just bored, watch it. But I wouldn't take time out of my day to go watch it. I mean, it was like a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, I think. It was okay. I mean, a little bit of drama, but that's basically all I had this weekend. I got my new account, I guess. Maybe as far as the whole account suspension, I apply for a appeal every single day and I send it in. And I actually had Grok. By the way, I want to talk about Grok, artificial intelligence. That's a good topic. So does anybody ever use artificial intelligence? We know, Rob, Donnie is my fave. We know. So artificial intelligence is wild to me, and it has become my Google search. And for an example, I will just think of stuff during the day, random ass shit that I would want to see if AI could do. And Twitter's AI is called Grok, Grok. And for instance, when I first saw it, when you're in school, it would be great for writing essays. So I would go and I would ask Grok to make me a 500-word essay on Abraham Lincoln, and it would write out me an essay. I sent a picture of my bills. It added up all my bills. I let it make a description for me for my podcast episodes. If you go to my Spotify channel on this, You Got Served podcast, and go look at the summary, I'm not smart enough to write that summary. I tell it what I'm talking about. I tell it to give me a title. It can write a resume for you. If I need a current event or a sports stat or a sports opinion, or I'm having trouble looking up something, maybe, just a minute ago, I wanted to see if that Original Sin was going to get started on the second season. I went to Grok. It said no. They have not pursued a second season to this point. I thought that was pretty cool. The possibilities are endless for this, and it makes you think, is it a little scary? I mean, I haven't gotten into this story yet, but did everybody see the Steve Smith story where he was fucking dude's wife? Well, some people thought that when he called Steve Smith, some people thought that Steve Smith's voice was AI. They had a country singer who had a stroke. I forget what his name is. Um, they made an entire song with his voice with artificial intelligence. An entire song. The possibilities are endless. You can do video, which the video is not perfect, but isn't that scary though? Like we're getting to this phase of anything could be deep fakes. You know, you get Trump saying something, you know the left would run with it. You could get people in trouble. Um, but from a positive standpoint, it's just the possibilities are endless. And I think it's really exciting that we've gotten this far. And think about like me, for instance, millennials, people my age, we were the last generation to live without cell phones. And I'm on a live stream with people that watch an idiot like me give my thoughts. Like, how wild is that? That's how far we've came. I remember getting a cell phone and thinking, um, you can use it straight off Twitter, by the way. I know it took me to a separate app, and you can use Chat GPT. Chat GPT is a little restricted. I think you only have 3 or 4 questions you can ask it a day. Maybe Grok might be restricted. I don't know. I have to pay for Twitter to live stream, so I have it anyway. Um, but the possibilities are endless. Remember having cell phones and, you know, it had, like, Snake on it, like, that was cool to us, the game Snake. Or, you know, you could log on to an online, like, I wouldn't call it, like, internet, but it could do some things, like check the weather on some of the flip phones, like, that was a big deal to us. And look how far we've come. We can play, you know, our best friends on NCAA and Rob gets smoked by Mellon, uh, on NCAA on, college football. Like, the possibilities are endless. You got people, content creators, and making a living off the internet, just streaming. Wild world we live in. But it's great to be back on the podcast. I think Rainey and Austin are gonna be coming up next. Check their podcast. It'll be on the live stream on Twitter. You Got Served podcast. Hope I'll be back next week, hopefully with some big stories. Still didn't get to finish a bunch of stuff I wanted to, but okay. Thanks for everybody that joined. Thanks for everybody that followed the new account. Froze up there for a second. You Got Served podcast. I'm